so excited to share this beautiful ship with you all Carnival celebration. We were blessed to be able to be just the third set of passengers on this brand new ship, and we were just blown away with the whole trip. So here we are getting onto the ship. It was a pretty hassle-free experience getting through the port of Miami. I remember once we got on the ship, it was actually kind of hot, and that worried me a little, like, oh no, what if the AC is out or something? But once the doors all got shut and everything, it was actually a really nice temperature and even cold in some places. You're welcomed onto the ship right near center stage, which is this huge theater-like area right in the middle of the ship. Of course, we made our way to Lido right away, and I just love this sign on the big screen. Just a little foreshadowing as to how much fun we were about to have on this ship. That's one thing I love about Carnival. They are known for being fun, and they deliver. We decided to go to our muster station for the muster drill as soon as possible so that we could get that out of the way. The muster was short, sweet, and easy to take care of quickly, so we could get on to exploring our home for the next 7 days. First off, I want to show you a few key areas of the ship. We were on the 9th deck, which is pretty much smack dab in the middle of the ship, being that it's 18 decks. This was the hallway down to our room. I love the decorations and stuff that people have on their doors. I always think that's so cool. Plus the pictures that Carnival already had up in the hallways are really beautiful. Here's our room, 9240. It's a cove balcony room. These are just a few short clips of the room. There's a full room tour video on my page if you want to check that out. We really liked this room. It was plenty big enough with lots of closet and storage space. We actually used our ottoman that opens up for storage as our dirty clothes hamper since we forgot to bring one. Bathroom is kind of small compared to other ships, but it was okay for us, but definitely only for one person at a time. Of course, the bed was super comfortable, and the views out our balcony were absolutely gorgeous. The only issue I had with this room was the Havana cabins were right below us, and then the walkway is right in front of that. So it's not a true balcony where you are on the side of the ship and no one can see you and you can't see anybody else on either side of you. Privacy on this balcony is definitely something you give up in this room. This is just a view out our balcony one night at sunset. You can kind of see at the bottom of the screen the walkway and the kind of the overhang of the Havana cabins right below us. We got to take some really nice selfies out on the balcony here, but just be aware that it can get windy very quickly, so prepare yourselves for that. They have these big screens that sort of tell you what's happening around the ship at that time with restaurant wait times and stuff, and I really appreciated having those. Here we have the elevator areas that can be found on every level. They also have these big maps by the elevators. This ship was so huge, it was really helpful to have these everywhere. The app Carnival Hub also has the ship maps, so you can have those on you wherever you go. Next up, we have some views of the center stage I mentioned before. Those windows in the back turn into LCD monitors and have these amazing backdrops for shows and some other events. The center stage actually goes up 3 floors with seating all the way up, surrounded by some shops, this catwalk, and these pieces of art that were actually taken from older ships. I did have an issue with the seating here. We saw one of the shows, and even though we had pretty good seats, I honestly don't think there are any actual perfect seats here. I think most, if not all, the seats have a viewing blockage of some sort, but it was still a pretty cool area, and during the day a lot of people just used it for extra seating since it's nearby the coffee shop. So this is a really cool area of the ship, Celebration Central and the Gateway. Celebration Central is in the middle of the ship and is spread across 3 floors. There's so much cool decor around here, beautiful staircases, and lots to eat and drink. Emerald's is here, a really cool sort of New Orleans style dining area. These items are available for an upcharge. I thought this was a really cool staircase with the neon signs and the palm leaves and everything. These flamingos were so cute. Look at his little Converse shoes. He's looking at them like, these are not my feet. Here's a quick shot of Deco Deli, just your traditional Carnival deli area. I love this guy. This area here is called 820 Biscayne. It's in Celebration Central on the 8th deck. Humongous greetings from Miami postcard. Definitely a good place for pictures. Cucina del Capitano is in this area, along with bars, seating areas, restaurants, guest services is in this area. Pixels is here, just a lot of great stuff. Miami Slice is also located along 820 Biscayne and is the food place that stays open the latest on the celebration. So the lines here get pretty long, especially late at night when it's the only dining option open. They have some good options here, not just your traditional pizza options, but also some creative ones too, like the La Habana and the Picadillo. Of course, everything here is made fresh and by hand. This area here is the gateway. This is a passageway with tons of cool things to look at. Old pictures and info from the original celebration ship, some like old-timey relics, and this huge model of the new celebration. So big. We were actually able to find our room on here, which was kind of cool. Here you can also find the bar, the Golden Jubilee. I really like the vibe through here, kind of old-timey and classic. Here's a great example of the center stage at night when the LCD monitors come on, and they just transform this space into all different kinds of themes. I just still can't believe something like this exists inside of a cruise ship. This is another area near center stage. This is the Rolls Royce that I believe used to be on the Carnival Ecstasy. My mechanic husband had to find out, but I can confirm this car does not have an engine in it. Of course, cherry on top is here, Carnival's iconic candy shop. Sweets and treats to buy, some candy sold by the pound. I think it was like $3.99 per quarter pound, something like that. Just to the right of that is Java Blue, which is Carnival's specialty coffee shop. All the coffee here is an extra charge unless you have the Cheers package, but they do have some really surprisingly good complimentary breakfast sandwiches and lunch sandwiches. The steak and cheese in particular is ridiculously delicious. The Lido is up next. I really liked the way the Lido looked at night with all the lights under the pools and the fake palm trees. And it wasn't usually too crowded on nights like this. They have a pool and a hot tub here, which is of course totally crowded during the day, but at night it's nice. And the dive-in theater is here where they show some fairly new movies. Also, the area called Street Eats is here along with the Seafood Shack. They have a few small food stands that serve a different small item each day. I loved these options and thought the food was really good. Also, it turns out, I didn't realize this, but they will show the NFL football games here. I guess some of the nights. That was cool. We just got to lounge around in a chair and watch the game. The Warehouse Arcade was a lot of fun. All the games and machines here were pretty standard for arcades, and they do cost extra. I will say the standard prizes that you get for winning tickets from these machines are not good. Maybe for younger, much younger kids, they would be good, but for giant kids like us, they weren't even really worth cashing our tickets in for. Josh found this machine that was open and almost became Carnival's most valuable prize. Up next, we have the Ultimate Playground. This area is so stinking cool. It's located on the 18th deck, so it's all the way at the top of the ship and has great views. They have mini golf and basketball, soccer, waterworks is up here with a small water park and a couple of water slides. As you can tell, the Bolt Coaster is up here as well, and I have to say that riding this thing was one of the highlights of this cruise. It is $15 per person, but it was so fun and so fast and definitely worth the extra cost. Plus, they actually take pictures of you while you're riding it, so that's kind of cool. I was literally woohooing during the ride. The rider controls the speed and even has a 15-second boost button. I'm telling you, that was so much fun. These are some beautiful views of Isla Roatan from the 18th deck. Okay, up next we have Serenity. This is Carnival's adults only area that's located on most of their ships. Celebration has a pretty big Serenity area with a big pool, 2 hot tubs on either side of the ship. There's a salad station called Fresh Creations. That's a pretty new addition. There's a bar and plenty of really comfortable lounge chairs. Those little wicker chair circle things, I don't really know what they're called, but man, they are comfortable. There's so many beautiful views up here. It's a great place to catch the sun, or you can lay in the shade, and you can just relax in a mostly quiet area. We tend to come to Serenity on port days if we don't really have an interest in going to that port, or if we just come back early. I mean, they basically have beds on here. It's just so nice, and I thought it was pretty funny. They attach the pillows to the bed frame with these like little tassels, and first I was like, oh, is that just so people won't steal? But I think it's because of the wind. So this was one of the most talked about shows on our cruise, the Most Magnificent Circus. We actually got to sit on the almost front row, sort of by accident. We just sat to talk and eat for a bit, and then we realized people started eagerly filling in around us, waiting for the show. So we just decided to stay. I have to say, this show was incredible. Just amazing talent and a fantastic energy put on by these performers. However, I will bring this up just because it seems like this was one of the most controversial areas of the ship. Lots of people we spoke to did not like the seating choices of this area. Most people, even the ones who showed up really early, couldn't see the show very well. And even the reserved seats up front that people wait so long in line to sit in, they limit you on what you can see because, as you can tell, the cast is up on stage, they're in the air, they're just everywhere. So they're behind you, or they're so high up you can't see around the awnings or pillars, or other guests are in the way. The show itself had me on the edge of my seat. I mean, the performance put on these guys was nothing short of spectacular. I just think the whole center stage area was just built kind of a little weird and not exactly viewer friendly. I just want to pause here really briefly just to say thank you for checking out my video. As someone just getting started in the travel business, it really makes such a difference when people watch your stuff or follow you, and it just means the world to me. With that being said, let's move on to arguably the best part of cruising, the food. This is the main dining room, Carnival restaurant. We really enjoyed our brunches here. Let me tell you, the skillet cake, I can still taste it. It is so good. You have to try it when you go. We didn't eat in the dining room for dinner as much as we have on previous cruises, just because there is so much to try on this ship. But we did a couple of times, and it was okay. It's not the best food on the ship by any means, but it was pretty good. Next up, we have Java Blue that I mentioned earlier. I normally wouldn't classify this as a restaurant, but this Java Blue in particular was huge, and they had so many things to eat. They had ready-to-go food like salads and sandwiches throughout the day, and then they had those breakfast and lunch sandwiches I mentioned before, as well as pastries during breakfast that are all complimentary. After breakfast, the cupcakes and cake slices and like chocolate-covered strawberries, they are an extra charge, but they're so worth it. They have like ginormous cupcakes for $3. I mean, that's a great deal. And the free coffee here is actually pretty good. I just wish they had to-go cups for the free coffee too, because trying to walk around with that coffee mug full on windy days was like an Olympic event. This is one of 2 Guy Fieri locations on the ship. This is Pig and Anchor, and the other one is, of course, Guy's Burgers. This was my husband's favorite place on the ship to eat, and since it's currently complimentary, I'm kind of sad we only got to go once. Pig and Anchor has a lot of seating and was right next to the Heroes Lounge, so it had sports on all the time. Here's their selection of homemade barbecue sauces. And then I just got kind of a quick shot of all the drinks and extras that they have to offer here. There's also a Swirls ice cream station in this area, along with foosball, shuffleboard, lots of comfortable seating. There's an outside bar and pool, so it's a very popular and busy area, but I think we only were waiting like 15 minutes for a table, and it luckily didn't seem too crowded, especially since we went for Thursday night football. There's also a live band playing, so it's a very fun and like social atmosphere here. This is also attached to the Parched Pig Brewery, and you can take tours of that as well. The food here is incredible. It is so good. You can choose meats and sides, or you can get stuff besides barbecue. So I got salmon and a pork and brisket sandwich. That salmon was chef's kiss, so delicious. And of course, dessert. Josh got the banana something or other pie, and I got the mud pie. Both very simple, but very, very good. Moving on to Chibang, which is another new restaurant for Carnival. It serves both Mexican and Asian cuisine, and they do both very well. We ate here a couple of times, and I honestly think where they shine here is the appetizers, so check those out. There are many appetizers on the menu for dinner, and they are all so different and delicious. They're also open for lunch, where they have a more limited menu, and right now this is also a complimentary restaurant. Here's some examples of their lunch bowls. I'm sorry I didn't get shots of our dinner. I must have been too busy eating. Again, Cucina del Capitano is a new restaurant on Carnival and is currently complimentary. We tried this restaurant for both lunch and dinner and really liked it. The staff here in particular were very kind. We were quick to get our food and our drinks. Here's a few clips of our food, and again, I wish I had gotten more, but the food clearly distracts me. Next, we have Rudy's Seafood Grill, which is a newer specialty restaurant. It was really tasty, however, I think for the price we prefer the steakhouse, but since it was new, we wanted to try it. One thing I noticed about the celebration is each area has its own specific decor. There is so much attention to detail on all the serving dishes and the tableware. It's all very modern and aesthetic, and I think just overall, on the ship the decor was top notch. Also, these desserts were very fancy and very delicious. Last on our tour here is Bonsai Sushi. Everything in this restaurant is an extra charge, but I think very reasonable prices for what you get. Again, with the decor, I just can't say enough good things about it. Here's the menu. We decided to be adventurous and choose the omakase dinner, which translates to I'll leave it up to you. So it's 3 courses for 2 people for $24. We also added edamame because I love edamame, and that was only $2. Our first course came out and I was like, buffalo chicken? That's weird. But it was actually like a tempura fried sweet and tangy chicken, not buffalo at all, but it did have a little kick to it. Next was our salad course, I guess. They literally give you these courses with no information, so it really was an adventure as we started to eat. This turned out to be a log of spinach, I believe, and it was covered in like a peanut sauce. I know that doesn't sound very appetizing, but it was surprisingly tasty. And for our last course, I got some sort of white fish, and my husband got a steak. They both came with a side of rice and had a beautiful plate presentation. And side note, the steak was absolutely amazing. So that concludes our tour of the Carnival celebration. I really hope you enjoyed watching. We loved this ship and enjoyed getting to experience all the new things that came along with it. Let me know your experience in the comments, or if you have a trip planned, what you're most excited for. Thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.